Today we're covering Dynamic DNS. What's it used for? How can it help you? Let's go. Hey there, welcome to Tom's Tech Show. And today, um, I was getting some comments on the OpenVPN server and things like that about how to connect and what should I connect to. So I thought, you can use Dynamic DNS to connect to that because often your provider, your internet provider, will rotate the IP address that you have at your house. So they do this to keep you from trying running web servers and email servers and things like that at your house. Kind of kind of frown upon that because that gets rogue email servers that can be hijacked and starts a lot of spam mail out and things like that. So they're doing it to protect you, but really they want to upsell you to a business account with a fixed IP address and all that. That's really kind of why, because people who know what they're doing, put security in place and all that. But so IP address, so DNS, right? So I think we all kind of know that we're not connecting to, when we type in something like Google, we're not connecting to Google specifically, we're connecting to an IP address. So here, if I type ping, which is just to connect and just see if it's alive, google.com, it comes back with a number, this 142, 250, 217, 206, and I'm not going to remember that to try and connect to Google. Oh, I got to type in this. No, I'm just going to type Google and then, or Apple or Microsoft or whatever company I'm going with, and that allows us to be able to easily remember and connect to the sites we want. So how do we do this and update DNS so that when my IP address changes at my house, how do I get it changed out on the internet? So say I've got my computer here and I'm running a little baby web server and it's for my family and everybody can connect to it and they can, post little comments and they can do different things, or it's a calendar or whatever. And I have my router set up. So I want that to be able to update DNS. I want to be able to have them just type, my home at noip.org or some other domain, or even some places will let you use personal domain. That's an upcharge fee. How do I get this to work? Well, I subscribe to one of these dynamic DNS services. Okay, so this public IP address here on my router can change from time to time, unless of course you pay for a fixed IP addresses, which kind of a business thing, which they're trying, they want to upsell you for. The ISP does. So I would need to then load agent. So whatever dynamic DNS service you subscribe to, they have an agent that goes on your computer, and some routers have the agent built into the router. And then that will take the public IP address through the dynamic DNS service and update DNS with, Tom's Tech Show. Some of them have different things like DDNS plus.org or something kind of domains, and push that back. So that takes your IP address, puts it there, and then pushes it to the dynamic DNS service. Then when I go and bring up my browser, and my browser looks it up in the dynamic DNS, it points me right back to my router, which goes to my service, and I have ports forwarded or whatever at my router to go into my little baby web server that I'm showing family, things like that. So that's kind of how it works. Allows you to run a little bit of a small microservice, I guess. You can use it for open VPN server. So if you have a VPN server running, then you can VPN into your house, and that gets you through a login and password and stuff to get to the house, get to storage if you want to move files or whatever. So that's kind of how it works. So I found a list here called Mint DNS that has a bunch of dynamic DNS services that are out there. All of these have like agents and things. Some are free, some you have to pay for. The first one down here that's all free is this Dynu. So I looked at that one, Dynu DNS. Okay. has a pretty easy setup, right? So you install the agent, you log in, create an account, create your domain name that you want to use. So you download the client, log in, watch the activity that it updates every minute, every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes. I mean, every hour really is probably fairly good. It just checks to make sure it doesn't need an update. So you can set up different ports, different things that you want it to use. And then you can set a polling interval, like this one's set to every 2 minutes. And then it'll tell you, boom, you're running, you're good, your IP address. So, I mean, it ends up being pretty easy to set up. So here, you just go sign up and you pick an IP address. You pick a domain name, like, Tom's Tech Show and DDNS free. And click add and then sign up, download the agent, and boom, it's off and running. And now you can go to that name on the internet and type that URL in, and it will go to that, or use that URL for your OpenVPN server. So pretty cool how Dynamic DNS works. Like I said, some are free, some some you have to pay for, some you can actually add your own DNS name. If you own a DNS name, then you can put that in there, and that typically, of course, costs more money to do that. But makes it so and you don't need to use it specifically for your home stuff. You can use it for business things. Business ones I would definitely pay for to get support. But if you've got a server on AWS, let's say, and you shut it down and bring it back up, well, every time you do that, the public IP address changes. But if you have Dynamic DNS on it, then boom, it'll come up. You'll get the new name, placed and be running it. So there you go. All right, so hope that was helpful. Dynamic DNS allows you to really get that IP address and know what it is, and then anytime if your ISP changes it, then automatically get the new one, keep running. So there you go. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions about how it works or some other solution that you've used it for, let me know. Watching.